right, and we're back, maybe, or we're here. Don't know. Maybe the microphone is capturing. Maybe I'm actually on. I don't know. We'll see. Don't know. Maybe the microphone is capturing. Maybe I'm actually on. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So this week we are looking again at this EverCraft kata because we haven't gotten through it yet. So we're gonna continue chewing through it until we get through it, and then we may dust it off like in 6 months and see how we like it again. I don't know. Who knows? We'll cross that bridge. We will cross that bridge when we get there. All right, so we're at the point I think that we're going to. Or I think where we ended off with was the Constitution. So let's go verify the character tests we have, the test surface that we have on our characters, right? Come on, you can do it. Okay, so we have the last one we had. Do we have anything about modifiers? We said name change should raise property change. Constructed wisdom should be default. Constitution should be default. When Constitution score high, should have more hit points, right? So like when constructed, Constitution modifier added to hit points is probably when constructed. When constructed, Constitution modifier should add hit points, right? Because this one is verifying that we have more hit points if we have a higher Constitution roll. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. Oh, I do remember this from last time. We ended off. We had this factory that I didn't like. This ability factory. Oh, technical debt already. We have technical debt. I'll come back to that because I don't know. Maybe my brain still hasn't figured out what I want to do with that. So today I think we're just going to focus in on, because we have tests that prove that the thing at least behaves based upon the requirements that have been stated. Always good to start off running all the unit tests at the beginning of the session and verifying. Uh-oh, we made changes. Okay, so we'll do git checkout. Spell that right? Experience? Sure. The whole world will be able to see it. My mother will be so upset. Git core added even though we haven't actually done it yet, we're going to just get the first commit out the way. So let's look at our requirement for the day, or for today. I think we're pretty much just gonna get through like the can level in the leveling system, and then we'll worry about classes next time, and we'll put a little more thought into that before we actually jump into classes. And I think after classes, there's only one more piece. Or is that it? Is it just 2 pieces? No, it's 4 pieces. I was about to say 3. There we go. Okay, so a character can gain experience when attacking. When a successful attack occurs, the character gains 10 experience points. Okay, so as a character, I want to accumulate experience, XP, when I attack my enemies so that I can earn bragging rights at the tavern. When a successful attack occurs, so not depending upon the amount of damage they do, that character gains 10 experience points. Okay, so this seems like it just needs to be an accumulator. Yeah, I want to accumulate, so that's a keyword, right? So we want to use some accumulation type function in all of this. Every time we get a new value, or we pump a new value down the thing, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to just add 10 to the experience. So a character can gain experience when attacking, which means as a character I want to accumulate experience. So as a character I have experience. So this is a composition relationship. So let's look at that. So I want to have experience, but I don't want my experience to be something that's public again. So we're talking about like mutability, right? I don't want it to be something that's publicly mutable. So I actually think I want it to be very similar to this, and I want it to be like experience. And right now it can just be a raw experience count. So now here's the fun part. It's in increments of 10. We can start off with an integer, and that will probably be more than enough until we decide to create an expansion pack, and then we'll have to come back and make that a long because, you know, we'll have to double everyone's level in order for them to pay us more money, right? All right, so we have experience. So let's just go ahead and say that when an attack is successful. So we have an attack method on the character, don't we? Tell me we do. Ha ha! We have an attack. We have a roll event. The roll plus the modifier. So we won't know. Okay. So we won't know that the attack is successful at the point that the character attacks. The success of the attack happens outside of the bounds of the character. So let's go look at our attack. So maybe our attack itself needs to return or have some like success flag. Yeah. Okay, so this gets into like we made this a command and then we made it not a command and we're making it a command again, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, this thing could just return the truth value of the attack, and then after a given attack, oh no, we can just assign experience in the attack. Ooh, but does that jive with our single responsibility concept, right? So no, it doesn't, because that's not the responsibility of the attack, is not to assign experience. The responsibility of the attack is to tell us whether or not it was successful. All right, so this is shaping up well. Okay, so actually let's go back and look at how we're implementing this. Okay, this is interesting. Ooh, what are we saying here? We're saying in this... oh, God, I can't read it, so we're going to have to do some formatting to make this not bad. I could have a defender pass in an attack event and determine whether or not the attack was successful on the defender. Because that's what we're doing. Okay, so what we're saying is... okay. Now here's the RX fun. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and when the property changes, at the point that we know... this is actually... so what we're going to do is we're going to compose an observable successful attack, right? So we know at this point, because of the way we've coded this up to now, that this is our successful attack, right? So here we've got an attack, we've got characters, we've got the attack event, we've got the characters, we've got the... it's not really an attack event. I'm gonna like... naming things is hard, and naming things is very important. So naming, the way this is named is either going to make me go back and rewrite it, or it's going to make me reevaluate the way I have it named completely. Just because now that I'm looking at it, like if this is the attack event, this should have all of the metadata on it that is required in order, because that's just a roll. right? So that's not okay. So let's change that. Let's just call that the attack roll, right? Because that's what it is. Yeah. You didn't get the memo. That's cool. Okay, so the attack roll has a modifier. It's been modified. Okay, so the modified roll is great. So if the modified attack roll is greater than the defender armor class, then we're going to execute the attack. But, and this is where I'll point something out about RX specifically, and then more about what we're doing here. Let me go grab my requirements and pin me requirements. So I have my requirements to go back to. You'll notice here, or I noticed here as I read through it, as a character, I want to accumulate experience points when I attack my enemies so that I can earn bragging rights at the tavern. When a successful attack occurs, the character gains 10 experience points. So if we're talking about things like single responsibility and how RX helps us achieve that single responsibility, right? Then we should pay attention to the fact that as I'm reading this requirement, the business requirement says nothing about where it should be done. It gives no indication or fidelity into where we should put the code. What it does give us is a clear definition that says when this thing occurs, this is my expected result, right? So like this is literally a unit test. This is a given when then statement. And the way we can write the RX is in the exact same approach. So we can say as the attack happens, right? Once the attack is successful, execute successful attack roll. Gats, brain. Oh goodness, we are having fun. Successful attack roll. There we go. So now that we have a successful attack roll, we can execute the attack, and independently of executing the attack, we can go ahead and say underscore. I'm gonna have to change that. Do we no longer have the attacker? We only take the defender here. Ooh, we can't do that. Okay, so we're gonna have to modify this a little bit. But long and short, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up giving the okay. Okay, so the good thing is that these things are now officially item potent. Right, so like I can rerun the attack roll. I can rerun part of the observable downstream, and everything will be the same. The problem is I don't really want to do that. Like I think I just really want to rather pass this down, which is gonna break everything downstream of it. Which means okay, here. Here we're going to do a dot select so that we can get the underscore dot attack roll underscore dot characters dot defender, right? There we go. Now this will go ahead and make like, and we'll clean this code up later because I have a feeling I'm going to find optimizations or different ways that I would have wanted to do this. But, because it's starting to get verbose and I'm starting to not like this verbosity. So, anytime I start to see too much verbosity, I immediately look to make it more terse. Identifier expected. So, yeah, here we would do characters dot attacker dot ooh, how much do we want to expose to the people? Let's go back and look at the requirement again, right? Because here we go. It's scrolling to the bottom. The requirement states what? When a successful attack occurs, character gains 10 experience. Yeah, now I'm starting to think about this. So a character attacks. Well, I guess this is still all part of the attack thing that is happening. So all of this is still technically happening in the attack. I can just. What I'm trying to avoid is giving a direct way on the character to just let you monkey with the experience. But um, as a character, I can gain experience. So let's give ourselves a method that allows us to gain experience, very similar to the way that we gain damage or that we take damage, right? I may even change that. Ha! Now I'm gonna do that because I thought about it. This is going to become. No, let's fix this first. This is gonna become gain experience. And this is going to become take damage because a character can take damage. Character can gain experience. So this is gonna be experience, right? And then this is just going to be what? How do we do this? Ooh, how do we do this? How do we do this? Can I do that is the question. Let's find out. This is gonna be interesting because oh wait, this is not an observable, so we don't have to do any observable.create stuff. We could just do whatever the thing, because we want the overall entirety of the experience to be something else. This is where having an event stream would be really nice, right? Like we have like an experience gained event. That's basically what we're simulating here, right? By providing a command is some experience gained event. I don't want to overcomplicate it because right now it's just gain 10 experience. Maybe in the future we have a requirement that forces us to change the way experience works. Maybe we make a wrapper class around experience, so we give it like some optional definition. So we almost define it like an optional thing. We could do that. That'd be interesting, right? So like we do like public experience, public class experience. It's gonna be like optional. Oh, I don't know if I have dynamic data pulled in. I have to have dynamic data pulled in. There we go. So I'm gonna pull it in, and I'm just gonna look at dynamic data's definition for this thing, and I'm probably just gonna snag it and make it. Yep, there he's doing the exact. Yep. Okay, so we can make it like this, right? Where we have the optional, but like I feel like this might be overkill right now, and this is a read-only struct. I like the fact that that's a read-only struct actually. Okay, so we won't even worry about experience as a concept, right? Because, or no, maybe we will, because experience can be represented as that, or experience can be represented as a new state every time state changes. So that way we could take the equivalency of the old, right? So like, how would we do that? Yeah, because then experience could be like, you could have experience all wrapped up in like a domain object, right? So okay, yeah, I actually do like that right now. So like, let's do experience, right? And in our experience, we'll have like a public int total. We'll have current, right? And then we can also have like until next level. Even though we haven't defined a leveling system, right? Maybe this whole experience thing plays into our level concept. Who knows? Don't know. Don't care. I'm playing around with stuff, so this is going to be interesting. We're going to see how this works out. So okay, so now now we can gain experience by providing an integer. I like this maybe, Experience now becomes experience, which is the observable as property helper. And what we can do is when this thing ticks, so it's funny, I'm trying to avoid creating subjects because I don't feel like I need subjects. I feel like I don't know how I want to do this. Like, I don't want to use a subject here, but I kind of want like to pass a new experience down every time. Like, I don't want to do like an observable dot create because that won't get me where I want. I don't want to do observable dot start. So I basically just want to say, all right, what I want to do is this. I want to say when a value comes in, pass my value to an accumulator. Complete. So that complete is so funny to me right now because I just got done watching like Tron, the original Tron, this past weekend. So like all I can think of is like end of line. But it's funny because observables give you a completion notification, so like that's why it's. Anyway, I'm explaining my jokes. Ugh. So I want to pass it to an accumulator function and I want to provide new experience, right? So like I could do all of that here and I could do like an observable dot start. I don't feel like gain experience needs to project back an observation or a completion notification. I think it just wants to tick a value, right? So it just wants to say, hey, yeah, you know what? That's fine. Value comes in, do the thing. So we'll keep it simple for now. And we'll just go ahead and create a subject. And later we can come back to why we wouldn't want to do a subject. Experience. No. Dot on next. So this is kind of a heavyweight thing because like a subject is I subject of integer. So a subject is both I observer and I observable. So this is where things get weird. This is, in my opinion, this is more heavyweight. Now, is it really like heavyweight? No, it's not like, oh, it's so heavy I don't want to use it. It's just, in my opinion, like an observable stream is cheap, an observer is cheap, but a subject that does both duties is, in my opinion, heavy because the reason why we have a delegation of I observer and I observable is because they are different responsibilities. So now what we're saying is, hey, we're creating a thing that gives you both responsibilities. It has a purpose, but you should know when and where to use it. And I find that I am having trouble knowing when and where to use it. And there's a really good, matter of fact, I'm going to find it real quick and I'm going to post it in here. There's a really good blog post by a man named Dave Sexton. There's a really good blog post by a man named Dave Sexton who's like a legit RX like wizard. And what it talks about is hot and cold observables and when to use a subject and when to not use a subject. Because you don't necessarily always want to use a subject, right? Like it becomes relatively heavy. So knowing when to use one is very important. So here, and if I am, and I could be interpreting his blog wrong, and I completely say interpretation, right? Because when you read it, you comprehend it how you comprehend it, right? So until somebody can shed light that I don't see, this is how I see it. That because I'm managing internal state, this is actually okay for me to do. But there may be a better, cheaper way for me to do it. So I always want to explore the cheapest way that I can possibly do a thing. So here we'll do this. And we'll do a scan, I think is what we'll do. We'll start with 0, which I think is the base experience. Maybe we need to later find a way to pull back the experience of a person later, but that's like gets into saving things down to a file system, which I feel like is beyond this. So we'll start with the 0 value because you start with 0 experience, I would assume. And then we're going to have, I'm actually just going to cheat. And yeah, there we go. I'm going to cheat and let Ryder show me how to do this. I want to do it just like that, Ryder. I want to provide a gained and this is oh no, this is gained and earned. Earned experience, and this is gained experience, right? Because that's the accumulation. So what we'll do is we'll say earned plus gained. Oh wait, we didn't do this properly. Let's stop. Full stop. We don't have a unit test. Let's go write a unit test. This is going to be the character gains experience. Right? This is going to be a character thing, and it's going to be when character attack. This is during the attack that the character is going to gain that experience. So, okay, as a result of the attack, yeah, because that's when the character is gaining the experience. Let's go write a test. When attack successful is what we're going to do, right? So we're going to do, let's go write our test. Otherwise, how do we know that we're writing the right amount of code? We're just writing code for the sake of writing it. No one wants to do that. No one wants to write code just to write code. Ugh. When attack successful. Wow, you're going to get to see all of my spelling problems. When the attack is successful, attacker gains experience, right? So here, system under test dot attacker dot experience dot current should be 10, right? So when the attack is successful, I have no idea whether or not this will actually, like, the insides of this pieces are correct. So we'll get back to the hey. Okay, let's go back and fix codes. Let's just do the subscribe for the moment. And we'll come back and tell you what you're supposed to do. We'll come back and declare your behavior in a minute. Let's go run this test to make sure that our tests are passing. It's failing. Yay. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Great. So we've got a failing test, right? Even if it's a false positive, it fails. So it gives us a point to debug through. So we're satisfied. Our TDD, as it were, is satisfied because, you know, we don't do the whole purism thing. Okay, so yeah, this is just gonna select. Yeah, we'll leave it as an underscore because I don't really care. Or is this going to yell at me and tell me that it should have a name? Deconstruct parameter into... No, why would we do that? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand why you're suggesting that to me, Ryder. Why are you smarter than me? Deconstruct to anonymous to insert signature to local function. Nah, I don't care about a local... Ooh, I saw closure allocation. Ooh. How's that a closure allocation? That is not a closure allocation. Oh, it is. It's just not a... Okay, it's not a bad one. Okay, we're good. It's not the red type. It's the orange type. It's okay. Orange means it'll be okay. So attacker experience. Let's go back to our attack. When we subscribe here, we're gonna do underscore dot characters dot attacker dot gain experience 10, right? Now we can prove that we at least gain experience when we have a successful attack. Let's go back to our character and see what happens when that happens. We'll take the subject. The subject will say, hey, we got... What are you telling me? Is never assigned. Yeah, we know. We're going to then scan it. And then we're going to do a dot select. Ooh. 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 Okay. Okay. Here we go. So if we truly want the we're gonna get fancy. If we truly want the experience to be transient, what we really need to do is return new experience here. We need to pass in all that you've earned to up to this point, plus what you've gained. And can we do that in an accumulator? Yeah, I guess we can. Construct constructor. Earned gained. So total is so total. So this makes it so that this is an actual transient object. I don't know if this actually adds value to the overall thing, but you know, again, I'm just playing around with RX because I like to play. We like current equals gained, right? So then total is going to equal earned plus current. And then next level, we can figure that out later because that might end up being like some two property nonsense that we do off of the property change notification of the internals of this bit. Or we could just add it, right? We could just do the math on it. Write some function that does it and be functional with it. So I don't know if I like this yet, but it just kind of proves that we can... Oh, can we do this? No... Does the accumulator actually have to return? Yeah, it has to return the type int. And I can't. Okay, so maybe if I do an aggregate. Okay, so scan won't work. Will aggregate work? Is this going to give me the same experience and tell me that I have to have... Okay, so whatever source is and then whatever the T accumulation is, you have to provide an accumulator of that type. Okay, so that won't work. So then if we write this wrapper, really what we're going to be doing is updating a portion of the experience. I don't like this. I don't like this anymore. So let's see. So we've got experience, and that would be transient. And our thought was, so we're aware, right? So we're talking apples to apples. Our thought was to just like two property this out. Character dot experience, right? So that way experience would be transient and it would just get dumped into the thing and everything would be great, right? The problem as I see it now is our experience is a fixed thing that has things that change, right? So let's go be domain driven, right? So let's set the experience. So maybe the character gains experience, and then we can get rid of this subject, right? And then we can say experience dot current plus equals 10, right? Then, yeah, okay, I like this better now. Okay, so now this becomes reactive. Does it have to have a public setter? Or maybe I have like an increment function on experience. That feels ugly because then I have like a thing on top of I have like a decoration type deal to get to the access of the thing that feels kind of weird. It feels like too many layers. So I'll not worry about that right now, but I will now. Okay, so now my total, haha. Now my total, I can do a this. Experience is going to be reactive object, and I can do this dot when any property, when any, what? Wait, what am I using? Yeah, this one. Oh, when property value changes, x dot current. So whenever current changes, right, we are basically going to say well, because I feel like then current always becomes total, and I don't think that's what we want. Let's go back to our requirement and figure out what we're doing too much of. Okay, because this is supposed to be easy. So what are we overthinking here? When a successful attack occurs, the character gains 10 experience points. Like, let's stop there. So I wonder if we're always gonna gain in increments of 10, right? Because I kind of just want like a gain button. That we're gonna get rid of. We're gonna get rid of that altogether. All right, so like what I want is anytime a value ticks, anytime you do this thing, anytime you give me 10, I add it to the total. Well, I can still do the scan, right? So I can do my scan. I can seed with 0. I can say int. This is still gonna be. This is gonna be the total, and this is gonna be gained, right? And I can say. Okay, for the moment, what we'll do is we'll do total plus, well, we'll stop overthinking it. We'll do total plus gained, and then we'll do dot to property x this dot total. This now needs to have observable as property. Why are you yelling at me? Auto property is never assigned. Yes, it is. You can stop yelling. We just won't use that at the moment. And what we'll say is that total, the experience total. So now experience dot current. That's going to grow exponentially. So I already see that being a problem, but like we'll worry about that when we get there. Experience does not contain a constructor that takes 2 arguments. No, it does not. I have a feeling I'm gonna get right back into this thing, and I'm not going there today. So we're not doing that. We're not doing that today. Today we're just gonna set experience equal to new experience because I think that's enough for what our requirements dictate, and it's still enough for us to get a valid test. Which part? Where is our null reference? Experience.current. Wah, 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 wah. So you're telling me that I have to... Okay. Two characters, three characters, roll. The modifier is -3 for 15? That doesn't make any sense. How is that possible? Whatever. Um, so we're saying the experience is null? Womp, 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 womp. Stop. Yes, experience is null. Maybe it won't be null now. There we go. Like, what's going on here? What did we break? What did we break? Are we even subscribing to this? Oh, yep, we are. Okay, so we've solved that requirement. It took us a little longer than what I would have liked, but I think it sets us up for the next piece very well. So as a character, I want my experience points to increase, my level and combat ability so that I can bring vengeance to my foes. Okay. Level defaults to 1. So, okay, all this is going to happen internal to the character, right? So, so while experience is going to be a complex object, I think level is just going to be... Level's just going to be simple, primitive type. No, it's not. It's not. Because why would it be? The whole purpose is to play. Okay, so how do we want to do that? It's just level equals 1, right? Because that's the initial requirement. We'll create a property. We'll call it yeah, level is actually definitely something that, in my opinion, should be an observable as property helper because it's a calculated thing, right? Like, as a result of the... Yeah. Did I not structure that guy? I did. Okay, so why are you... Oh, you're telling me to remove the not access property. So instead of doing that, what I want to do is probably some mathematics to determine your level based upon your total experience. So we should be able to do like a this dot when property value changes. When the experience dot total changes, we'll do some select and we'll return 1, and we'll dot to property ex that thing out to the character dot level. Right, so now when a character is constructed, they should have, when character is constructed, I don't think I need half of that, but anyway, when a character is constructed, they should be level 1, right? When a character, when constructed, should be level 1. B should be. So dot level should be 1. And we'll go back and clean up. I know we kind of glossed over that earlier test and didn't really fill out the innards of it, but Okay, let's look. Let's go make the test fail because that green lighted way too easy for my liking. Okay, I have confidence now, or more confidence that it doesn't completely suck. Okay, so what we're saying is so now we know that the total is going to tick. So let's actually okay. So let's see what the total value is when we do that. Just to be on the safe side. Actually, yeah. Well, we expected it to be 1. It selected 1. So now let's actually do underscore dot. Oh. Oh yeah, we can't do the total. We have to do total. No, we need to do math. Math dot divide. What are we dividing? We are dividing the total by 1,000, I think was the requirement. So it's like every 1,000 experience. Yeah, every 1,000 experience is another level. Right, so when I hit 1,000 experience, I should be at level 2. How are we? Okay, I'm not quite. Oh, no. Yeah. It's going to be. Wait a minute. Why are you yelling at me? Oh, these modern IDEs and their smarts cannot resolve int. Oh, yeah, because you need an out parameter for the divisor, for the divisor, for the remainder. Remainder, right? Okay, now, var. Yay, inline out parameters. Okay, so now it should just be that, like, +1, right? So, because it's going to be 0 at first. So let's debug that real quick and see if we are correct. And if we are, we will be ecstatic. Yeah, we don't really care about you anymore. Your breakpoint is no longer relevant. So total is 0. So it will run through the math calculation. And it's 1. So now here comes the fun, right? Do I want to be able to mock this experience out and say, oh, well, when the experience is such and such, or because I'm testing behaviors, right? I could explicitly just up the experience until the point, where, because like I've written my own way to kind of cheat here and do it from the public access. So this is where it's like this method really only has value taking in a value so that we can test the public surface. Otherwise, we would probably just want to close this off, right? And say that the gaining of experience is a closed thing inside the character. And internal to the game, maybe we take an enum of events or something, or maybe we take an event type in. And that event type dictates the amount. But what we want is to try and encapsulate that logic internal to the character, maybe. But then that changes the testing service, right? How do we test that behavior? So we could... How do we test the thing? So, like... no, like, I feel like we want to test the behavior, right? So, like, we allow you to set the current value on the experience, right? Okay, so now that we have a test that says when it's constructed, you should be level 1, we can now test the leveling mechanism for each... Okay. Right. So we can write a theory. We'll write a theory that tests this. Haha. So level should be, experience +1 or something like that is what we're really looking at. So when experience gained should gain level, right? So how do we test that with a theory? Let's go theory and let's put some inline data. Inline data. And what are we trying to test? We're trying to give it, like, let's say if we give it 1,000 experience. We expect it to be level 2. Yeah, I'm sending in the expected and the actual because, like, why not? If we give you 2,000 hit points, we expect you to be level 3. 3,000 hit points, we expect you to be level 4. 4,000, and so on. So this is a theory that'll basically give us an understanding of whether or not our algorithm works correctly based upon the expansion of the algorithm itself. So we'll say int experience. And then and this would just be the equivalent of like if a high level character took you into a high mob zone with high density creature things with lots of experience for you, you just get like 1,000 experience, you just gain a whole level all at once instead of gaining the 10, right? Like that's basically what we're talking about. So because there's nothing that really stops us from a domain perspective from doing this. So we're not really encapsulating that experience logic by giving you the ability to do anything explicit on the experience. So I think I actually really do like the fact that we can test this directly. Int level, right? So we have this experience bit. So here, we'll take our win away. Bye win. I actually don't think I need this with factory anymore. And I don't think I need this in my test. I don't think I need any of that. I think I literally just need a character. And then I need a win. System under test dot experience dot current equals experience. Then level should be level, right? So that, in my opinion, is way too easy. So let's just break our algorithm or give it something that we know our algorithm should not be able to pass just so we can verify that the test fails. Oh no, no overload for experience that takes thing. Cool. Can I just do that then? Do I still have to provide it? Oh, I can't because it's in scope. Dun dun dun. It's not something. There we go. There's your closure allocation. Smarts. Let's run the test. And there's just one failure, right? So that's good. And that's the one that we said level 6, right? Expected should be, but found 5. Okay, so that means that our algorithm works, right? So our algorithm is correct for how a character gains totals based on junks and things and stuff. So that works. We'll separate out the experience into its own class now. We could actually test the experience itself and just verify. I mean, I guess that's technically what we're doing is like here is. No. This is only testing the total. So we want to go back and test the experience because we want to verify that the experience bit works the way we expect it to work. So I'm not convinced that the behavior of that experience is actually going to expand correctly. So I'm just going to write a couple of more tests around it to make myself feel better. So we're going to write these experience tests because I want to kind of narrow in the behavior of the way that domain object functions. So let's go back real quick. Let's change that to 5. Save our thing, and now we're going to have an experience, and we've got our experience tests. So now we're going to do a new XUnit test, and we're going to bring in the fact, but we're going to say because we know what happens when it's constructed, but when current changed, total should accumulate total. I think that's what I want to say. I don't know how I want to actually define this test right now. Actually, come on, be smarter than me. So what we'll do is we'll do var system under test equals new experience, right? So we have some experience when the current is set to 10, right? Oh, this gets weird. Maybe the yeah, okay. Okay. This is weird. This gets weird. Um and I don't like what I'm about to do. So I literally just said earlier this week on Twitter that I shouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing here. So I'm about to do exactly what I said I shouldn't do. Um, all right. This allows us to test it, but this doesn't actually give me what I want. I don't know if I want to create like backdoors for myself for testing. I don't really like that concept, but here we are faced with the dilemma. We can either make this current thing publicly mutable, right? Or we can go back to our previous thought where we have an incrementer, and every time that incrementer ticks a value, we just add it to the total. Because right now what we're testing is this, right? If I do this, I would or wait. Yeah, I would expect that to be 30, right? Like that would be our expectation. I don't think that's what's going to happen. But let's run it and find out. Because that's my expectation. My expectation is that that thing is 30, right? Because we're just plussing it. But that's not what we're getting. We're getting 60, and that's exactly what I wanted to go test. Because if you noticed, what I'm doing here is every time you set the current, right now the requirements have it set that the experience is incremented by 10. So let's just, but I want you to be able to set the experience, like to set whatever the, so like, do I want like a, see, this gets into exactly what I said I didn't want, because the character method has something on it very similar. So like every time that the increase is tapped, then you go and give it plus 10, or you take 10 down the pipe. I don't like that. That feels ugly to me. So how do we clean this up? Is probably the better question. How? Okay. So, okay, what we can do is we can, okay, so we can verify, so we can do more complex math to make this work in our seed. Like, I'm allowing you to set the current directly, and I don't feel like you should be able to set the current. I don't feel like I should let you set the current directly. I feel like you should be able to increase your experience by some integer value. Right, you should be able to increase your experience by some integer value. And then what I should do under the hood is say current plus equals the experience that you provide, right? Make this a private set. Mm-mm. current dictates a a a concept of knowledge of the level. I don't feel like the experience should have any knowledge of the level. So this is where it gets weird, right? Because now all of this feels extra. This just feels like the same thing. Yep. Which proves to me we shouldn't have did what we did. So let's go back. Now the tests are kind of proving that our API surface is janky. Uh, Right, that changes our API surface there, so that the increases, that test should still pass. But now we've still got this one where we're going to that attack roll. I want something to happen as a result of that. This feels like it's all right. So we'll do increase 10, right? So now there's that decoration that I was talking about, like gaining experience on the character is no more than just, a number. So we can click that button as many times as we want. So now if we do system under test dot increase, right? Come on. So if we do that, what does that change it, or do we still have to go back and fix it? I think we still have to go back and fix it. Yeah, still have to go back and fix it. So what do we not fix? We didn't fix our accumulation. Every single time, huh? Okay, so I think what I want to do. What I want to do is just say when this method is called, like when the delegate's called, is what it is. It's what it is, isn't it? Just two property. Like, do I really want to do that every single time? I guess I could do that, but that feels heavy. The property change notification feels lighter, but I know I don't want to create like a. It's like, do I keep? Okay, so I would. Okay, so here it is. Here it is. Here it is. I have my current experience, which is my experience until next level, right? So and that's going to go from 0 to 1,000 always, right? So every time it hits 1,000, it's going to do something. It's going to reset itself. Cool. So now, instead of doing, hold on 1 second, folks, I have someone at my door. I apologize. Wow, okay. Someone was knocking at my door. Okay, so that's gonna be like my experience until next level. I have glasses around here somewhere. Maybe I should put them back on so I can see these things. So I have experience until next level. This will be my total experience. So this will literally be my total accumulated experience. All right, okay, so now anytime current changes, I don't want to set it equal to that. What I want to do is okay, so what I want is like some private internal thing that ticks this value. I think they both listen to it though. Like, so I can use property change notification as a way to accomplish this, or I can just create a subject. I think I'm going to use property change notification. I don't want to use Fody for this though, because I don't think Fody will allow me to do a private thing. And that's what I want. I want this to be private. I want this to be right, like that's more or less what I want. I want this to be get underscore incremental experience. And then I want to do raise instead of changed ref underscore incremental experience value. Yay. Okay, so we'll give. All right, so like, okay, so yeah, I can do it with the way that it works, but I don't really like that. So we're just gonna do this plus equals incremental experience. All right, so now I just get rid of this. This doesn't mean anything. This should be self-explanatory. Okay, so now let me put my publics where they belong, my privates where they belong, and everybody will be happy with the fact that I have a well-structured file. Okay, so now I've got this internal incrementer, which its only purpose is to tick whatever the value of the experience is coming down the pipeline, right? So now, because it notifies property change, I can say, hey, increment experience yeah, okay. Increment experience gives me total plus gained, right? So then I can compose an observable that says this is my gained experience, right? So far, so good, right? So now we've got our gained experience. Now we're going to take part of that observable and we're going to say, hey, dump that into the total. We're going to take part of that observable and we're going to say, hey, okay. So what we want to do is we want to say, okay, so what this is basically going to do is going to say when the, sorry, I got the microphone all in the shot. What this is going to say is that, how are we doing this? All right, you're watching my brain lose it right here. All right, what we want to say is when cap locks is a thing, when the value is greater than 1,000, give me a 0 value. Otherwise, give me the value, right? Okay, perfect. So It's hard to write it out. So so here we're gonna say select the experience. If experience is greater than 1,000, then we're going to return 0. Oh, no, no, no. If it's greater than 1,000, we have to we can't return 0. We'll come back to that. We can't return 0, but like we can't. Otherwise, we'll return the experience. And then we'll do a dot to property this on. What's this experience going to be? This is going to be experience dot current. Okay, there we go. So what we're going to do is this. Come on. Work with me, code. What we're going to do is this. We're going to say that we're going to take in the experience. Anytime the experience is greater than 1,000, we're going to take the experience minus 1,000. Otherwise, we're going to take the experience. And that's going to be the current, right? So like, ooh. Okay, so for simple cases, this will work. For like the more complex case where we can provide you the experience of... Oh, golly gee willikers, Batman. More maths. So I had to use this math function, like this divider function, a couple of weeks or months ago. And you know how once you use something, like you end up using it a whole lot more? I have started using this thing way too much. Out var remainder. So that'll divide the experience by 1,000. So, okay, so this is where it's weird, right? So, like, okay. If I have, in a real world scenario, I have 1,000 hit points, 10 will come down, and then what I want to project out is that 10. In a not so real world scenario where I'm getting, like, let's say I'm getting power leveled, right? 3,000 experience comes down the pipeline. What we, I'm at 0 or whatever. I could be at 950 for all I care, right? And then 3,000 comes down the pipeline. What we would want to do is divide it. We really just want the remainder, don't we? Plus whatever. Oof. So this is going to be the total. So, okay, no, this is the total that's coming down. Okay. Okay, so it wouldn't matter what this is. It wouldn't matter what this is. And this is actually, this would be like, if we're at 1,000 and we have 10, then we would want to project 10. If we're at 3,000, let's say we just had like 3,050 just to make it a not so even number, what we would want to project is 50. So what we always want to do is take the result. Yeah, we don't even need to look at the addition. We can just look at numbers. This is just math. We want to take the result, and we just want to project the remainder after we divide it by 1,000. Because we don't care about what the actual number is. We want to return the remainder. How does one get to that? This is going to get ugly. Because I can no longer return this ternary operator. Okay, so let's just, if experience is greater than 1,000, right? Then we're going to do this. and we're going to return the remainder. Oh yeah, because it's there. I don't care. I'll fix that in a second. Otherwise, we're just going to return the experience, right? Yeah, the problem is I need you to keep the parentheses, buddy. Okay. So this will get me closer to where I think I want to be, because like let's go verify this, right? So like again, I think I want a theory, because we're trying to verify the inline data. We're trying to verify this algorithm, right? So like let's say that I send in 1,000. I would expect current to be 0. Okay. Let's not mess up the current test. Let's leave the current test be. Even though it's failing, let's go create a theory, because it should pass once this theory passes too. So that's why I'm like, might as well get a theory that gives me some peace of mind in the values that we just said. So like if we have 1,000, we want it to be 0, right? If we have 1,010, we want it to be 10. And if we have like 3,050, we want it to be 50, right? So when incremented, or increased is what we call it, increased, experience gets increased. When increased, should current and we'll take in an integer, the increase, and we'll take in the int expected, the remainder. This is the remainder that we expect. The current. We expect this to be the current, right? All right, cool. So now we have increase. So we will do this, and we will increase our experience by the increase amount. And then the current should be the current, right? Current should be current. So now if we go and look for our tests, are they in this session? Yes, they are. We'll go run our 2 tests. This one should fail, but this one should fail too, I think. Yeah, okay, good. It did fail. An unhandled object implement. Ooh. We did awesome. We broke something. We broke something big. What did we do? We did not change our operation stuff. And as a result, Fody did not know how to weave that IL properly. So this is our fault. Let's run it again and see if we get a green light now. Still getting red lights. That's fine. Expected it to be 10. Still finding an unhandled increase, increment, experience equals experience, increment, private set, raise set if changed, increment experience value. Current. Okay. Now I am confused. An object implementing I handles, where did it blow up though? Where would it have blown up? On the scheduler. I'm running something on the wrong thread context. That doesn't seem... Oh, the observable's property helper is blowing up. Which one? It's got to be the one we're trying to invoke. So let's put a breakpoint there. Let's put a breakpoint on a return, and let's debug the thing. It's getting close to lunchtime. I'm almost out of coffee. Okay, so I know how to fix this. I don't want to, but I know how to. Okay, so let me think about this. Let me think if I can think of why this is happening. Okay, so it's got to be something in here. When property value changes, incremental experience, which it should notify property changed. So, are we getting anything out of this? EverCraft exception handler. Observer of exception. If debugger is attached, debugger dot break. This way we can at least look at the exception as it's happening. And what we'll do is we'll go and create a test base class. Class abstract test base public test base thing that rx app.default exception handler equals new thing. This could be probably just be make constructor protected. To expression body. Alright, so now we're at least going to get some level of fidelity into what the crap is going on in that object. Come on. You can do it. Debugger.break. Value, argument null exception. Oh, I don't like you in the slightest. Let's just run it. See if we still get the error. Hey, look at that. The problem goes away. Oh, null checks. I hate null checks. I hate null checks. Okay. But found 0. 50, but okay, well, at least we can debug through this now. So let's go debug through the thing. We already got a breakpoint. Yay, let's go check. So experience in this instance will be 3000. System argument null. Which argument's null? Oh, okay, this is a limitation with... So if I do that, this should all start passing. There we go. Now those pass, and this one fails. It's like whack-a-mole. Expected to be 0, but found 1,000. So let's go back to our requirement real quick, because I feel like we've strayed very far from our requirement at this point. Yeah. 0 XP to first level. Okay, so it needs to be divided by 999. Ugh. I don't want to do that. That seems like that'll get weird. Is less than 1,000. Now this will pass. Right? Okay. All my other stuff passes, right? Okay. Okay. So we've got math that does things and stuff. Yikes. This select statement is ugly, and I would like to pull it out into its own thing. This I don't think can actually be null, but so we'll take the null check out and rerun the tests just to verify, just so we're not adding in an additional null check for no reason. Okay, so that's correct. Now that should pass too. Okay. That says what current should be, but we haven't fixed what total should be. Like the total should accumulate experience, right? So total. Wait, no. That should work. Oh, I see what I'm doing wrong. You see what I'm doing wrong? I see what I'm doing wrong. Current. Right. So what we should be starting with is whatever the current value is. So now if I run this, it's either going to give me a no reference exception or it's going to work. No, it didn't either. It still didn't work. Debug. So maybe these things aren't the same. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things does not belong. All right. I'm starting to get frustrated. So let's figure this out quickly so that I can go handle some stuff. All right. So like this should work. So now let's just go ahead and think about this, right? So like now maybe we want the total to be the total and the accumulated to be the accumulated, and maybe the seed value is just the value itself. So I need to know, I need to be able to do this for that, and then greater than or equal to? No, yeah, it doesn't need to be greater than or equal to. It was I think it was less than or equal to. It just needs to be less than 1,000. And we don't have to worry about it as much. So now this needs to be total. Right, so if I scan the total plus the gained, and then I can just do this. Okay, so I just branched the observable at the wrong place, I think. Introduce, replace both. Increment changed, right? That means that increment changed, that increment changed. Let's do the thing there. So now we got two property current total. So now the total will be the total accumulator for that one. The current will be the current accumulator for this one. I don't like that we're having to do two mathematical operations. Maybe we can come back later and figure that out. Maybe after I take a step back, it'll all make sense. What? Okay. So now let's take a step back. Let's invert the way we're thinking about this, yeah? So what I see now in my brain is a problem that I coded myself into. And what I did was I said, hey, give me the increment amount, dump out the value, and then calculate up the current, right? What I'm thinking now is to invert this so that anytime, say, let's do this, right? This dot win any value, any value, x dot total, right? So anytime the total changes, then we can do, anytime the total changes, we can do our mathematical operation here and to property out, right? That'll reduce the amount of stuff, right? So like now, instead of having two things that are ticking up as a result of the same thing, I have something that ticks up, and then as a result of its overall stuff, because like the current is always really just going to be a subset of the total in reality. So instead of trying to make the current or the total from the increment, let the increment tick, like so the value ticks, and then once the value ticks, then we can just go ahead and say, hey, do your division and determine whether or not the current should be the thing. I would want the current to dictate the total, but that also doesn't make sense, right? Because the current can reset to 0. So like I don't want to have to worry about caring about that state. I just want to say, hey, here's the total. My current should be a mathematical calculation or subset of my total. So let's see if this works, because like this shouldn't. We need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of that. Delete. Yeah. So then this goes back to being that. Now we don't have to maintain any additional stateful stuff. And what we can, okay, so then we have this, we have this dot any value, dot increment experience, increments. We're scanning the total. And we're saying, give me the total plus what you've got and dump me out back into the total. Anytime the total changes, we're going to grab the experience for the total. We're going to check to see whether or not it's less than 1,000. If the total is less than 1,000, we just return it. Once the total is greater than 1,000, we divide by 1,000, give you the remainder, and that is the current experience. So all of that seems right, right? So now this should work. Why no work? When that increase happens, right? Incremental, and then we're just going to set breakpoints and debug. Okay, so the incoming value is 10. That's fine. We expect 10 to hit, but then we also expect this accumulator to hit. Okay, so 10 is happening again and again. Increment experience is happening. It should be any value. It should raise the property change even if it's not changing. Fine. Fine. We'll go back to how we had it originally. I'll just accept the fact that I am not smart enough to get around needing a subject. I subject int underscore increment equals new. Do we want to take the zero value? We don't care about the zero value because it's an observable. It should just default. Here we will dot on next that experience, and then here we'll do underscore increment dot scan dot total blah blah stuff. So now if we're worth half our salt, these all tests should still pass. Okay, so now this test, why you no pass? There we go. Okay, so the property change notification was not raising because we were setting the same value every time, but that's a real use case for us, right? Every time it increases by 10, this thing should happen. So now we've got our experience working. Yay! So now for each level, hit points increases by 5 plus the Constitution modifier, and 1 is added to the attack roll for every even level achieved. Oh, geez. So, yeah, you just divide by 2 and take the value. You divide by 2 and take the value. Okay, so that's easy enough. So, for a character, oh wait, when experience gained, yeah, all that should work. All these should still light up. Be green. Be green. Yay. Okay. So when a character levels, X unit test, when level up, what was the requirement? One requirement was that the hit points should increase. Another one is that the attack modifier should increase. So, okay. When level up, hit points increase. And then again, when you level up, the what else should increase? The your attack modifier should increase. Attack modifier increase. And now it doesn't say anything about it being specific to the like a higher level or lower level at this point, so we'll just accept the fact that we should be good to go if we just construct a character, right? And we do system under test. Oh wait, no, yeah, dot. We can't directly set the level, but we don't want to directly set the level. We want the experience to increase to a point. So this is how we can test it. So we'll increase the experience to a point where they level up. So we'll give them 5,000, or no, we'll just give them 1,000 experience. That way they level up. And then we'll say, then system under test dot so attack dot, so this is going to get weird, but this is going to get extremely weird. Dot modifier should equal 1. Oh wait, we just want to assert dot should dot be one. So if we construct a stock character, they won't have a modifier. This will actually be my then scenario. So let's go ahead and dump that there. Yay! No! Yay! I am so good at this. We actually want to set this up here, and we're just kind of inverting our test logic a little bit because, you know, observables are basically just a callback. Then, okay, so given, when, then. Oh, I don't know if this is actually going to work. We'll see. This may not work. First off, we put the wrong thing in the wrong test. Second off, that should not have passed. So what the heck? Attack modifier is increased, but found 0. It should be 1. When the experiences increase, the level should flip. Okay, so what we're doing here is this. Okay, so blah blah. So okay, so level, right? This dot when property value changes x dot level, right? We want to do two things. We want to subscribe to you and say, hey buddy, take my hit points and increase them 5 plus my constitution modifier, right? Yep, let's do that. So let's take my hit points and let's set that to plus equal 5 plus constitution dot modifier, right? And then we also want to set what was the other thing we want to do? Command. You can do it. We're thinking here. Oh, okay. 1 is added to the attack roll. How do we guarantee that? Because, like, how do we... How do we guarantee that your level affects your flipping attack roll? Plus strength modifier plus level? Is that, like, am I reading that right? That it would that basically your level is gonna, yeah, 1 is added to your attack roll for every even level achieved. Okay. Even level. So this is where we have to do the more math dot divide. We want to take your level. We're gonna come back and change this later because this is yucky to me. This is like, ugh, why are we doing it this way? And we want to divide it by 2 out var remainder because we don't care about that right now. Yeah. So, okay, so here... okay. I can dictate my strength modifier. Okay, so on my character test, I can dictate my strength modifier. So I can say, give me one of those tests where I'm doing that. Yeah, here we go. I can say that I can stub out this factory. I can say when the strength, arg strength is going to equal 10. No. I don't care about that. I want to do the dice roller. So var roller equals substitute dot for I dice. Is that right? Is that how we're doing that elsewhere? I don't feel like that's right. We're not doing that. We don't need to do that anywhere else in the character, do we? Where we're past, I think every other place that we're doing that in the attack. So maybe we actually don't need this dice roller here, and maybe we can figure out a way to do that better later. But for the moment, what we'll do is back to our thing, and we'll say dot with roller. Roller dot roll was gonna be 20-sided dot returns 10, right? So we are restricting the value so we know exactly what it should be. So that means when we get to our modifier, we should know exactly what our modifier is. So I don't see how we don't nail this, right? Oh, I know. I think I know what I'm doing, or what I did wrong, or what I need to change. We'll do result equals the modifier, and we'll do bar result equals 0. And then in our then, we'll do result dot should dot be 1, right? Like that's what we expect our modifier to be. Take our then statement back, and now if we do this debug, or we just run this, nope, that's the wrong one. Wait, was this passing? But found 0. Okay, perfect. So now man, if we don't get through this, I'm gonna be upset. Okay, yep, that's fine. That's fine. It's rolling a 20-sided. My level is 1. My strength modifier is 0. Okay. So my modifier is 0. My modifier is 0. That's fine. On next experience, total gained. Now I'm going to out. So my character level should... Am I not... So this should... Okay. So when I hit divide by 1,000... So I'm getting 1,000 divided by 1,000 should be 1. 1 plus 1 should be 2. The level should change, and this thing should get hit. I think I'm going to have to play around with this piece. I don't think this will work the way I want it to because this is basically isn't creating a time loop and an unintended closure. So I'm going to probably clean that up sometime this week and figure out how to do this part. But you can see that we're not far off. Let's see if we can. Well, the hit point should be increased, right? Because like, let's go verify that this test works. Because if this test works, then I'll feel better about everything. It should be the same test structure. So now the result. So now instead of that, it should be like system under test dot character dot hit points should be our constitution modifier doesn't matter, so we'll just verify that it's like 5. Oh wait, we start with 5, we go to level 2, should be 10, right? So when the thing increases, we don't care about the attack anymore. We don't care about your rolls. We just need a basic test for this. Given found 15. Oh yeah, because we start with 10 and we increase 5. Okay, so that works. So then that just proves that this is just a time loop issue and that I just need to figure out how to get that working. So this week we got through the end of the requirements. We just have to, write a valid test for this, and then we're good to go. So we can move into our iteration 2 next time. Thank you everybody for joining in, and see you next time.